Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. Monster show today. NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer, a future for the portfolio, New Year's resolutions for each NFL team, more sports and entertainment predictions that I just forgot to include, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NFL. We'll go over the Week 17 results. Some surprises, some obvious ones. So Saturday, Cowboys over the Lions 2019 in a controversial finish. We'll get to that in news and notes. Sunday, Ravens over the Dolphins 56-19. Bills over the Patriots 27-21. Bears over the Falcons 37-17. Rams over the Giants 26-25. Colts over the Raiders 23-20. Jaguars over the Panthers 26-0. Texans over the Titans 26-3. Cardinals over the Eagles 35-31. Saints over the Buccaneers 23-13. 49ers over the Commanders 27-10. Steelers over the Seahawks 30-23. Chiefs over the Bengals 25-17. Broncos over the Chargers 16-9. And the Packers over the Vikings 33-10 on Sunday Night Football. So last night we did an emergency show. We went over the Week 18 slate a little bit, and a lot that's on the line. So make sure you listen to the first show of the year when it was technically an emergency show, but we did a lot of NFL Week 18 storylines there. College football results. We'll go over the Bulls and the college football playoff from the holiday weekend. So Friday, the Gator Bowl, number 22 Clemson over Kentucky 38-35. The Sun Bowl, number 19 Notre Dame over number 16 Notre Dame over number 19 Oregon State 40-8. The Liberty Bowl, Memphis upsets Iowa State 36-26. And Cotton Bowl, number 9 Missouri upsets number 7 Ohio State 14-3. And Marvin Harrison did not play. Saturday, the Peach Bowl, number 11 Ole Miss upsets number 10 Penn State 38-25. The Music City Bowl, Maryland upsets Auburn 31-13. The Orange Bowl, number 6 Georgia beats Florida State and beats them handily 63-3. And the Arizona Bowl, Wyoming beats Toledo 16-15. And then New Year's Day, the Relia Quest Bowl, number 13 LSU beats Wisconsin 35-31. The Fiesta Bowl, number 8 Oregon kills number 23 Liberty 45-6. The Citrus Bowl, number 21 Tennessee beats number 17 Iowa 35-0. So that was a shutout. And in the college football playoff, the Rose Bowl, number 1 Michigan over number 4 Alabama 27-20 in overtime. Blake Corum scores first for Michigan, and then Michigan's defense stops Jalen Milroe on 4th down and goal from the 3 on a running play that Bama had so much success at yesterday. And then Sugar Bowl, number 2 Washington over number 3 Texas 37-31. So that was an upset that I predicted on the podcast. So the picks I gave out for college football playoff went 2-0. And then a week from yesterday, in 6 days from now, we will have the national title game between Washington and Michigan. So number 1 against number 2, although number 2 was an underdog to number 3, as they probably should have been. And then number 1, number 4 was about as close as we thought it was going to be. And the spread was Michigan only by 2.5. So looking forward to Monday. It's going to be a good game. A lot of subplots. So we are looking forward to that one. All right, college basketball from the weekend is a lot. So when we get to Saturday, I think I'm just going to do the notable results. Just like we go over the notable games on Saturdays usually. But we're probably going to do that for college hoops. All right, Friday. IPI over Detroit, 6-7-55. Green Bay beats Rice State, 88-77. Holy Cross beats Elms College, 88-60. Tulane beats Dillard, 94-64. Mercer beats Talladega, 70 94-50. Wofford beats South Wesleyan 75-55. Penn State beats Rider 90-63. Elon beats Valpo 82-78. Winthrop beats Toccoa Falls 113-62. Western Michigan beats Aquinas 127-71. Miami beats North Florida 95-55. Indiana beats Kennesaw State 187. Stony Brook beats Brown 69-65. Number 1 Purdue beats Eastern Kentucky 80-53. Number 8 Kentucky beats Illinois State 96-70. Number 18 Clemson beats Bradford 93-58. Stetson beats Charlotte 79-75. Miami of Ohio beats Wilberforce 119-69. Iowa beats Northern Illinois 103-74. Purdue Fort Wayne beats Northern Kentucky 73-60. Cincy beats Evansville 76-58. Niagara beats Buffalo 69-63. East Tennessee State upsets East Carolina 86-70. Charleston beats Mont Street 96-59. McNeese beats Michigan 87-76. So best bet won. The closeout 2023. South Florida beats Alabama State 73-70. Minnesota beats Maine 80-62. St. Joe's beats Loyola Maryland 97-56. UCF beats Bethune 98-54. American beats UMBC 87-85. Stephen F. Austin beats New Orleans 80-51. Nebraska beats SC State 91-62. Number 9 North Carolina beats Charleston Southern 105-60. Number 21 Texas beats UNC Greensboro 72-37. Tulsa beats Southwest Oklahoma State 95-54. St. Mary's beats Kent State 66-46. UAB beats UNC Asheville 90-85. Milwaukee beats Robert Morris 78-75. Western State loses at LSU 96-55. Isn't that Will Wade's new team? Or that's McNeese. Northwestern beats Jackson State 74-63. Denver beats Omaha 95-80. St. Thomas beats North Dakota 70-45. UMKC beats Oral Roberts 77-60. South Dakota beats North Dakota State 75-66. Utah beats Wazoo 80-58. SAU Edwardsville beats Eastern Illinois 67-58. Southeast Missouri beats Southern Indiana 93-91 in OT. Number 11 Illinois beats Fairleigh Dickinson 104-71. San Diego State upsets number 13 Gonzaga 84-74. Number 15 Colorado State beats Adams State 106-61. Colorado beats Washington 73-69. New Mexico beats Eastern New Mexico 87-54. Boise beats Utah Valley 85-63. Pepperdine beats West Clip 83-47. Fresno beats San Diego 71-67. Tarleton beats Loyola Marymount 79-66. Number 4 Arizona beats Cal 181. And Arizona State beats Stanford 76-73. All right, notable Saturday results. Syracuse beats Pitt 81-73. Notre Dame beats Virginia 76-54. Rutgers beats Stonehill 59-58. St. John's beats Hofstra 84-79 from UBS Arena. Lipscomb upsets Florida State 78-75. Rhode Island beats Northeastern 82-71. Fordham beats Columbia 87-78. App State beats UL Monroe 67-55. Florida beats Quinnipiac 97-72. UMass beats Siena 79-66. Davidson beats Ohio 72-69. Number 10 Marquette beats number 22 Creighton 72-67. Number 16 Duke beats Queens 106-69. Number 20 James Madison beats Texas State 82-65. Wake beats Va Tech 86-63. Loyola Chicago beats Central Michigan 73-35. Michigan State beats Indiana State 87-75. South Carolina beats Florida A&M 94-62. Princeton beats Delaware 84-82. Alabama beats Liberty 101-56. Georgia State beats Arkansas State 91-90. Dayton beats Longwood 79-69. BC beats Gardner-Webb 87-73. Georgia beats Alabama A&M 93-73. Western Kentucky beats Abilene Christian 86-84. Missouri beats Central Arkansas 92-59. Number 2 Kansas beats Wichita State 86-67. DePaul beats Chicago State 70-58. Richmond beats Lafayette 59-38. St. Bonaventure beats Akron 62-61. Oregon beats UCLA 64-59. Vandy beats Dartmouth 69-53. Arkansas beats UNC Wilmington 106-90. Number 14 BYU beats Wyoming 94-68. San Fran beats Miss Valley State 92-42. Number 3 Houston beats Penn 82-42. Florida Gulf Coast upsets number 7 Florida Atlantic 72-68. Number 19 Memphis beats Austin Peay 81-70. Ohio State beats West Virginia 78-75 in overtime. Texas A&M beats Prairie View 79-54. Auburn beats Chattanooga 101-66. Oregon State beats USC 86-70. Nevada beats Fresno Pacific 92-59. Sunday results. UMass Lowell beats Emerson 116-48. Green Bay beats Robert Morris 78-61. Iowa State beats New Hampshire 85-70. Colorado beats Wazoo 74-67. Purdue Fort Wayne beats Detroit 91-56. Cleveland State beats IUPUI 86-57 or 77. Number 12, Oklahoma beats Monmouth 72-56. Mississippi State beats Bethune 86-52. Southern beats Ecclesia 115-42. Oklahoma State beats SC State 86-70. UNLV beats Carroll, Montana 87-51. Milwaukee beats Wright State 91-83. Oakland beats Youngstown State 88-81. Omaha beats South Dakota 67-51. South Dakota State beats North Dakota 81-61. St. Thomas beats UMKC 77-56. Southern Indiana beats Lindenwood 73-62. Stanford upsets number 4 Arizona 182. Number 24 Ole Miss beats Bryant 95-78. San Diego beats Westcliff 78-65. MJIT beats Morgan State 69-53. Western Illinois beats SU Edwardsville 78-70. Morgan State beats Southeast Missouri 83-64. Jacksonville State beats Trevecca 107-67. Oral Roberts beats Denver 89-86 in OT. Utah beats Washington 95-90. And Arizona State beats Cal 71-69. In 4 results from New Year's Day, Liberty beats Boise 88-46. Drexel beats Hampton 99-65. Number 20 Texas beats Texas Arlington 79-62. Texas Tech beats North Alabama 85-57. And TCU beats A&M Commerce 77-42. All right, today's games in college basketball. We will start with 4 o'clock Utah State Air Force. These lines are going to be a little wacky over the next couple days. So I have Utah State by 2 5/8, total 141. And we have, let's see here, 6.5 and 135.5. So a little less than a 4-point edge on Air Force. And I have a higher than 4-point edge on the over. So I'm gonna take the over. 6:30 Fox Sports 1 DePaul, number 4 UConn. My line is UConn by 14 and 5/8, total 144 3/4. And it's 23.5 and 138.5. I'm gonna take DePaul to cover. That's way too high. On Peacock, number 1, Purdue and Maryland. My line is Purdue by a half, total 145 3/4. If Maryland's favored, that's stupid. And they're not. It's 5.5 total, it's 140.5. So I have a 5-point edge on Maryland, and I have a 5+ point edge on the over, so I'm going to take the over. SEC Network, Norfolk State, number 5, Tennessee. My line for this game is Tennessee by 20, total 141 and a 20th, and it is 24.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take Norfolk to cover. On ESPN, number 8, North Carolina at Pitt. My line is, wait for it, Pitt by 7/8. Total 152 and 9/20. And North Carolina's giving 4.5, totals 158.5. So the question is, where do I go? But the reality is I have a larger edge on the under. ESPN 2, East Carolina at number 17, FAU. So FAU drops, not to get ahead the news notes with the poll, but 10 spots because of the Gulf Coast loss. My line's FAU by 8, total 148 and 13/20. And at 16.5 and 147.5. I'm going to take East Carolina to cover. Big Ten Network, Iowa at number 21, Wisconsin. My line is Wisconsin by 7 1/8, total 152 and the 20th. and it's 5.5 and 152.5. So for the first time, I actually have an edge on the favorite. Granted, not a big edge, but I'm going to say slight Wisconsin. ACC Network, Wake, BC. Mine's BC by 3.5, total 149 and 7/10. And it's Wake by 1.5, total 149.5. That's crazy. Give me BC plus the points and even money outright. CBS Sports Network, Creighton, Georgetown. Mine's Creighton by 3, total 147 and 9/20, and it is 12.5 and 148.5. I'm taking Georgetown to cover. That's way too high. Ball State, Kent State. My line's Kent by 6 and 3/8, total 148 and the 20th, and it's 10.5 and 142.5. Over. Buffalo, Central, Michigan. My line's Central by 5 and 1/8, total 142 and 3/5. Or Central. And it's 1.5 and 143.5. I'm actually going to lay it with Central. I think it's the first time where it's a definitive edge on the favorite. Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green. Mine's Bowling Green by 6 and 7/8, total 140 and 9/10. And it's 10.5 and 142.5. I'm going to take Eastern Michigan to cover. Western Michigan, Miami of Ohio. My line's Miami of Ohio by 9 3/4, so 140 and a 20th. And it's 4.5 and 147.5. I'm going to lay it with Miami of Ohio. Toledo, Ohio on ESPNU. My line's Ohio by 4 and 7/8, total 154 and 4/5. And we have 2.5 and 158.5. I'm under. Albany, Harvard. My line is Harvard by 10 and 1/4, so 148 and a 5th. And it's 4.5 and 154.5. That's a hard one. But I'm going to take the under. And I mean hard in terms of where do I have a larger edge. Vermont, Brown. My line is Vermont by 4 3/4, so 138 and 2/5, and it is 3.5 and 135.5. I'm going to take the over. 8 o'clock, Cornell, number 18, Baylor. My line is Baylor by 14, total 157 1/4, and 16.5 and 166.5 under. That's way too high. UIC, Murray State. My line is Murray by 3.5, total 138 and the 20th, and it is 3.5 and 140.5. Under. Belmont, Southern Illinois. My line is Belmont by a half, total 149 13/20, and it's Southern by 5.5, total 146.5. Give me Belmont plus the points, plus 190 outright. Chicago State, Kent State, or Kansas State. My line's Kansas State by 33.5, total 141 and 3/10, and it's 21.5 and 139.5. I'm going to lay the points with Kansas State. Akron, Northern Illinois. My line is Akron by 1/4, total 150 and 7/10. And it's 5.5 and 149.5. I'm going to take Northern Illinois plus the points. San Jose State, Wyoming. 8:30. My line is Wyoming by 1 1/8, total 145 and 2/5. And it's 4.5 and 143.5. I'm going to take San Jose State in the points. Butler, St. John's on Fox Sports 1. This is going to be at Karasekna, not the Garden, unfortunately. Let's double check. I know St. John's has a couple at the Garden this month, but this one is not. My line here, St. John's 4.5, total 150 and 9/20, and it's 6.5 and 154.5. I'm going to take the under. 9 o'clock, Big Ten, Northwestern, number 9, Illinois. Mine's Illinois by 4.5, total 142 and a 5th. And it's 5.5 and 140.5. Slight over. ESPN, Syracuse, number 14, Duke. My line is Duke by 4 7/8, total 148 and 9/10, and it's 12 and a, or that's Drake. Oops. 14.5 and 152.5. Whew. Syracuse cover. Oh my God, that's way too high. ESPN2, Charlotte SMU. Or no, we skipped one. SEC Network, Penn, number 25, Auburn. So congrats to Auburn, finally ranked. Mine's Auburn by 15.25, total 149.7, and it is 21.5 and 149.5. I'm going to take Penn the cover. Love betting against newly ranked teams against the spread. ESPN2, Charlotte SMU. My line is SMU by 9.125, total 135. And it's 8.5 and 134.5. Very close. Slight lean SMU. UAB and UTSA on ESPNU. My line is UAB by 4, total 156.1. And it's 6.5 and 157.5. I'm going to take UTSA to cover. Illinois State, Drake on CBS Sports Network. My line is Drake 13, total 149.9, and it is 12.5 and 138.5. Over. And last but not least, Fox Sports 1, 10:30, New Mexico, number 13, Colorado State. My line's Colorado State by 2 3/8, total 152.7, and it's 3.5 and 155.5. I like the under a lot in that spot. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over results from the weekend and look ahead to all the notable soccer for today. We'll start with La Liga because La Liga is starting up at 11. So the return of that league after its break, 11 o'clock, Getafe and Rayo. So Getafe is plus 135, Rayo is plus 240, the draw is plus 195. These two teams are close in the standings, but I think Getafe is better. I'm going to take them at home, plus 135. 115, Real Sociedad and Alaves. Real Sociedad minus 190, Alaves plus 650, the draw is plus 260. Over 2.5 goals, plus 126. And then 3:30, Valencia and Villarreal. Valencia plus 105, Villarreal plus 260, draw plus 230. I'm going to go with Valencia plus 105. Premier League results from the weekend. Saturday, Chelsea over Luton 3-2, Aston Villa over Burnley 3-2, Crystal Palace over Brentford 3-1, Man City over Sheffield United 2-0, Wolves over Everton 3-0, and Nottingham Forest over Man United 2-1. Sunday, Fulham over Arsenal 2-1, and Tottenham over Bournemouth 3-1. And then yesterday, Liverpool over Newcastle 4-2. And then today's the last Premier League game for another week and a half plus until Saturday the 13th. So 2:30, West Ham, Brighton. West Ham and Brighton are each plus 160. The draw's plus 260. West Ham is 6th in the standings, and Brighton is in 8th. So they're very close. But there's no choice but to go with the draw here at plus 260. And we have Coppa Italia today. At 3 o'clock, you have Milan and Cagliari. Milan's minus 180, Cagliari's plus 450, the draw's plus 310. For this one, go under 2.5 goals at plus 108. So we don't have Champions League until the 13th of February. So this is a long break for Champions League. So we don't have Champions League till Valentine's Day. German Bundesliga back on the 12th. We did the Liga. All right, Serie A from the weekend. Friday, Fiorentina over Torino 1-0. Napoli Malta 0-0 draw. Genoa Inter Milan 1-1 draw. Lazio over Frosinone 3-1. Saturday, Atalanta over Lecce 1-0. Cagliari Empoli 0-0 draw. Udinese over Bologna 3-0. Milan over Sassuolo 1-0. Salernitana over Verona 1-0. And Juventus over AS Roma 1-0. French League 1's not back till next weekend. The ALC. So Friday, Southampton over Plymouth 2-1. Birmingham Bristol City 0-0 draw. Leicester over Cardiff 2-0. Coventry Swansea 2-2 draw. Borough over Huddersfield 2-1. Hull over Blackburn 3-2. Ipswich QPR 0-0 draw. Millwall over Norwich City 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday over Preston 1-0. Rotherham over Sunderland. That's a 1-1 draw. Watford Stoke 1-1 draw. And West Brom over Leeds 1-0. And then New Year's Day, Sunderland over Preston 2-0. Blackburn Rotherham 2-2 draw. Millwall over Bristol City 1-0. Leeds over Birmingham 3-0. Leicester over Huddersfield 4-1. Coventry over Borough 3-1. Norwich City, Southampton 1-1 draw. Plymouth Watford 3-3 draw. Cardiff over QPR 2-1. Stoke Ipswich 0-0 draw. Swansea over West Brom 1-0. And Sheffield Wednesday over Hull 3-1. No Dutch Eredivisie till next weekend. Premiership. So Saturday results. Celtic over Rangers 2-1. St. Mirren over Aberdeen 3-0. Hearts Ross County 2-2 draw. Kilmarnock Dundee 2-2 draw. And Motherwell over Livingston 3-1. And it takes the last day of Scottish Premiership until the 23rd of January. So Dundee St. Johnstone was postponed. Hibernian Motherwell. That's a good one. I think that's going to be a draw. Livingston Hearts. I think Hearts is going to win that one. Rangers Kilmarnock. That's going to be Rangers. Ross County Aberdeen. That's either going to be Aberdeen or draw, but I'm going to say draw. And then St. Mary's Celtics. Celtics going to win that. That game is at noon. And then Saudi Pro League from the weekend. Friday, Al Hilal over Al Fayed 2-0. Al Raid over Abba 4-3. Al Ali over Al Khalij 1-0. And then Saturday, Al Fateh and Al Aqdad 0-0 draw. Al Shabab over Al Weda 1-0. And Al Nasser over Al Tawoun 4-1. So no Saudi Pro League until February. Okay, now move on to the NBA. We'll go over all the games from New Year's weekend and look ahead to everything today. Friday, Magic over the Knicks 117-108. Wizards over the Nets 110-104. Kings over the Hawks 117-110. Celtics over the Raptors 120-118. Bucks over the Cavs 119-111. Sixers over the Rockets 131-127. Thunder over the Nuggets 119-93. Suns over the Hornets 133-119. Spurs lose to the Blazers 134-128. And the Clippers beat the Grizzlies 117-106. Saturday, Jazz over the Heat 117-109. Pacers over the Knicks 140-126. Pistons over the Raptors 129-127 as the Pistons finally end their long losing streak. Bulls over the Sixers 105-92. T-Wolves over the Lakers 108-106. And the Mavs over the Warriors 132-122. New Year's Eve, Hawks over the Wizards 130-126. Pelicans over the Lakers 129-109. Thunder over the Nets 124-108. Celtics over the Spurs 134-101. Kings over the Grizzlies 123-92. And the Suns over the Magic 112-107. New Year's Day, Knicks over the T-Wolves 112-106. Raptors over the Cavs 124-121. Rockets over the Pistons 136-113. Pacers over the Bucks 122-113. Nuggets over the Hornets 111-93. Suns over the Blazers 109-88. Jazz over the Mavs 127-90. And the Clippers over the Heat 121-104. All right, only 6 games on tonight's window. 7 o'clock NBA TV, Bulls Sixers. I don't know why that game's the NBA TV game. There's one better game than that. Sixers, I have projected as a 15 3/4 favorite, total 226 and 9/10, and it's 10.5 and 223. I'm laying the 10.5 of Philly. 8 o'clock, Spurs Grizzlies. Mine's Grizzlies 10.5, total 227 and 3/5, and it's 10.5 and 236. Under. Should be 13.5, but the bet would still be the under. Nets Pelicans. My line is New Orleans by 10, total 230.5, and it's 6 and 228.5. I'm laying the 6 with the Pels. Celtics Thunder. This is the game that should be on NBA TV. My line is the Celtics by 3/4, so 232 and 11/20. This is the biggest game of the Thunder season. This is a prove-it game for them, and the Celtics are a 4-point favorite, total 239.5. But I'm still taking the under. 10 o'clock NBA TV, Magic Warriors. My line is the Warriors by 2 3/4, so 228 and 3/10. And it's 3 and 230.5. Under. And last but not least, Hornets Kings. My line is the Kings by a whopping 27, so 232 and 7/10. And it's 16 and 232.5. I'm gonna lay to 16 with Sacramento. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the NHL. We will go over all the games and look ahead to today's, which should be a nice window. Friday, Devils over the Senators 6-2, Panthers over the Rangers 4-3, Red Wings over the Preds 5-4 in OT, Jackets over the Leafs 6-5 in OT, Isles over the Caps 5-1, Avs over the Blues 2-1, Stars over the Blackhawks 5-4 in OT, Coyotes over the Ducks 2-0, and the Kraken over the Flyers 2-1 in OT. Saturday, Jets over the Wilds 4-2, Sabres over the Blue Jackets 3-2 in OT, Bruins over the Devils 5-2, Rangers over the Lightning 5-1, Canes over the Leafs 3-2, Panthers over the Habs 4-1, Pens over the Blues 4-2, Preds over the Caps 3-2 in a shootout, and the Oilers over the Kings 3-2 in a shootout. New Year's Eve, Jets over the Wild 3-2, Bruins over the Red Wings 5-3, Sens over the Sabres 5-1, Pens over the Isles 3-1, Bolts over the Habs 4-3, Stars over the Blackhawks 8-1, Avs over the Sharks 3-1, Flames over the Flyers 4-3, and the Oilers over the Ducks 7-2. And then the New Year's Classic, the Kraken beat the Golden Knights 3-0. Joey Daccord gets the shutout. Vegas has a ton of injuries, so it makes sense that the Kraken won this game. And plus, they had the home field advantage playing at T-Mobile Park. So good for the Kraken for getting that win. And now there's a lot of games today. 7 o'clock from the Garden. Hurricanes Rangers. That's a monster game. Big game for the Hurricanes to get back in the division mix with the Rangers. If the Rangers win this game, that just is like another great resume win for the Rangers. They're only minus 120. The Canes are even money. Over under 5.5. Over is minus 130. Under is plus 106. Canes plus 1.5 is minus 245. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 198. I don't want to do this. Why is that line so small? You would have thought the Rangers would have been minus 140 at home. They're only minus 120. I'm taking Carolina at even money. They need the game. The Rangers. It'd be nice if they won the game, but Carolina needs it more. Bruins, Blue Jackets. Bruins minus 20. Jackets plus 180. Over under 6.5. Over minus 5. Under minus 115. Bruins minus 1.5 is plus 10. Jackets plus 1.5 is minus 132. I like the over. 7:30 ESPN Plus and Hulu. Caps Penguins. Pens minus 176. Caps plus 146. Over under 5.5. Over is minus 130. Under is plus 106. Caps plus 1.5 is minus 172. Pens minus 1.5 is plus 142. That's a good one. Pittsburgh playing a little better. I'm going to take Pittsburgh over 3.5 goals at plus 108. And both teams have 40 points. But Pittsburgh's such a big favorite. 8 o'clock, Blackhawks, Preds. Preds minus 275, Blackhawks plus 220, over under 6.5, overs plus 104, unders minus 128. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 106, Preds minus 1.5 is minus 113. That's a tough one, but I'm going to lay it with the Preds. Habs, Stars. Stars minus 220, Habs plus 215, or 255, over under 6.5, overs minus 105, others minus 115. Habs plus 1.5 is plus 104, Stars minus 1.5 is minus 125. I'm taking the under. Flames, Wild. Pick'em minus 110 each way, over under 5.5, overs minus 134, unders plus 110. Flames minus 1.5 is plus 225, Wild plus 1.5 is minus 280. The Wild need the game. I'm taking a minus 110. Lightning, Jets. Jets minus 134, Lightning plus 112, over under 6.5, overs plus 114, unders minus 120. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 225. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 184. I'm taking the Lightning on the road plus 112. Bounce back spot. 9 o'clock, Isles, Avs. Avs minus 182, Isles plus 150, over under 6.5, overs even money, unders minus 120. Avs plus 1.5 is minus. Isles plus 1.5 is minus 156. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 130. So for this one, I'm going to go. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, so I'm going under 3.5 Avalanche goals, minus 112. Flyers, Oilers. Oilers minus 172, Flyers plus 142, over under 6.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 164, Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 136. I know the Oilers been hot since the coaching change, but I'm taking the Flyers at plus 142 to win outright. Panthers, Coyotes. Panthers minus 156, Coyotes plus 130, over under 6.5. Overs plus 104, unders minus 128. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 150, Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 182. I'm taking over at plus 104. 10 o'clock, Senators, Canucks. Canucks minus 150, Sens plus 125, over under 6.5. Overs minus 124, unders plus 102. Sens plus 1.5 is minus 188. Canucks minus 1.5 is plus 155. Canucks puck line. 10:30, ESPN Plus and Hulu. Leafs, Kings. Kings minus 130, Leafs plus 108, over under 6.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Leafs plus 1.5 is minus 210. Kings minus 1.5 is plus 180, or plus 172. Over. And last but not least, Red Wings, Sharks. Red Wings minus 182, Sharks plus 150, over under 6.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Wings minus 1.5 is plus 130, Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 156. Tough one. I'm going to go with under 2.5 Sharks goals plus 116, but I don't feel good about it. Okay. Next, we will do the portfolio. So, confession. I made a future the other day because it was too good of a number. I'm going to go double down on the same team. A team that is red hot right now, is getting good quarterback play, and is in the same division as the team that is currently the favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Ravens are the favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And yours truly laid 37-1, a fifth of a unit on the Cleveland Browns to win the Super Bowl. Yours truly is doubling down with the Browns, but is playing a safer role here. They're 20-1 to win the AFC. That is unbelievable. 20-1. I am laying a half a unit on that. Like, that is insane. So a half a unit on the Browns to win the AFC at 20-1. Riding with Joe Flacco. And That is also a great number that I just couldn't resist on passing up. And that number is only going to go down from there. And by the way, the Steelers at 85 to 1 to win the AFC has a ton of value. If you think that the Dolphins are going to beat the Bills and the Steelers will obviously beat the Ravens. All right, so a quick little portfolio for you because I knew what I was betting. So now I'm going to do more predictions for sports and entertainment. I just forgot to include some entertainment and more sports in there. We'll start with more sports. We didn't do golf. So I'm going to predict that Tiger Woods will announce his retirement. Tiger, to me, is a golfer that just doesn't have it anymore. And he probably should have retired sooner. He probably should have retired during the pandemic. But he's just not the same. So I'm going to say that Tiger Woods announces his retirement at some point this year. And then he's going to go on a retirement tour. And he's going to get his flowers like Derek Jeter got his flowers in his retirement tour from Major League Baseball. Another golf prediction is that Brooks Koepka will win a major for the second year in a row. I don't know which one it will be. I don't know if it'll be the Masters. I don't know if it'll be the PGA Championship or the Open. But I think Brooks Koepka will win another major. And a breakout golfer this year. There's always like a breakout golfer every year. And by the way, we have the Tournament of Champions coming up this weekend, so we'll do tea times and stuff on the podcast tomorrow. But a guy that I think is going to break out in golf this year and make a leap will be somebody that got hot at the end of the year last year. And he's very popular of a pick to win tournaments. And that's Ludwig Aberg. I think that he will be a breakout golfer this year in the PGA. The WNBA is one we didn't do yesterday. A couple days ago. I think that we will have a finals rematch of Liberty versus Aces. But that obviously could change before the season if there's some unexpected free agency and trade stuff. I'm also going to predict that Sabrina Ionescu of the Liberty, this is the year where she puts it all together. Finally. And I'm going to predict that Caitlin Clark will be the number one pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. And the number 2 pick, if she decides to go pro this year, will be Paige Beckers of UConn. Everybody forgets about her because of Caitlin Clark breaking out last year. I'm going to say Caitlin Clark won, but if Beckers declares, then Beckers is going to be the number 2 pick. MLS and just soccer in general. So we'll start with MLS. I think another big soccer star, whether it's Ronaldo or somebody of that nature, will come to the MLS. Like we saw Messi come to Miami last year, but I think we'll see somebody big come to the MLS, whether that's Cristiano Ronaldo or Neymar or somebody of that nature. Another prediction for MLS is that LAFC wins one of those in-season tournaments again. LAFC is just a team that has been there and done that. They didn't win the MLS Cup this past year, but I think they'll win one of those tournaments. And I'm going to say that the Columbus Crew have a championship hangover of some sort. I don't know if that means they missed the postseason entirely, which I don't think it will, but it might mean they don't finish in the top 3 of the Eastern Conference this year. Because, Philadelphia is going to be motivated. They are coming off yet another heartbreaking loss in the playoffs. Cincinnati was good last year. You think NYCFC is going to be better. The Red Bulls are usually good. They were better once they made the coaching change. So the East is going to be better this year, and I don't know if the Crew are going to crack the top 3. And then you have Orlando, and then obviously Miami with Messi, and Atlanta is always a wild card in the conference as well. I'm going to say Leicester goes back to the English Premier League. So I think they finish on top of the ELC. So after an ELC year, I think that they bounce back and go to the EPL. I'm tempted to predict that Rangers beat Celtic in the Scottish Premiership, but I don't want to go that far because I have a lot of respect for that Celtic team, and Rangers are good, but I just think Celtic's more talented, and they beat Rangers the other day. So I'm trying to think of other predictions. NASCAR. I'm going to predict that another big name announces a retirement. It's obviously Kevin Harvick retired, but I think that somebody retires. I don't know if that's going to be Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin, but I think one of the big names are going to announce their retirement. And I think this is finally the year where we see a NASCAR driver on The Masked Singer, whether it's a current or a former NASCAR driver. I could see it being Denny Hamlin. I could see it being Kyle Busch. I could see it being Dale Earnhardt Jr. I could see it being Tony Stewart or Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick got a retirement. One of these guys is going to finally end up on The Masked Singer this year. And a driver that I think is finally going to put it together this year in the sport as a whole is Myatt Snider. He's from the Xfinity Series, but I think we'll see him in a couple cup races this year. And I think that he's going to be an improved driver this year in NASCAR. And another prediction for NASCAR is I think we're going to see either Hailie Deegan or Jennifer Jo Cobb in the Xfinity Series multiple times this year as well. So I threw in a cup and a truck prediction for you guys as well. Tennis, I think that Nick Kyrgios is going to be a breakout tennis player this year. I think we'll see him in several quarter and semifinals of the big tournaments, such as the Australian Open, the French Open, maybe the U.S. Open. So keep an eye out for Nick Kyrgios. I think that this is going to be an interesting year for Naomi Osaka. She obviously was the top dog this past year, but I'm going to say that somebody supplants her. I think she gets supplanted by somebody. And I think Novak Djokovic holds on to number one the whole year and wins multiple Grand Slam titles. And in entertainment, I'm going to predict that I gave out a Masked Singer prediction already. Dancing with the Stars, I'm going to link sports to this. I'm going to say Tommy DeVito, the third-string quarterback of the New York Football Giants, either ends up on Dancing with the Stars or The Masked Singer. Doesn't it just feel like Tommy DeVito is going to end up on one of those shows? I know we didn't see Jeremy Lin on one of those shows, but we saw Tim Tebow on Dancing with the Stars, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to say that Tommy DeVito ends up on one of those two shows. The Olympics is this year as well. And I'm going to predict that LeBron plays in the Olympics. So that's something I probably should have predicted on the Friday show. But I expect LeBron to play in the Olympics. And I think Victor Wembanyama will play. I think Embiid will play for the United States. So it's going to be interesting to see the NBA with the Olympics. And I think a former baseball player that's going to play on the baseball is Todd Frazier. So keep an eye out for that one. Okay, back to reality stuff. Survivor. I think we finally see a player from the new era on one of the next two seasons. I don't know who that's going to be, but I think we finally see a player from this new era that will be back on a different season. So keep an eye out for that. I predict that Ryan Seacrest is going to be a major hit on Wheel of Fortune this year when he replaces Pat Sajak, and I think he's going to embrace it really well. I also think, speaking of Ryan Seacrest, that American Idol is going to be a monster success yet again. And a fun idol prediction, also Masked Singer. A fun idol prediction is that I think that we will have a guest judge several times. Sometimes we have guest judges, but we haven't seen that in a while. So I think that will happen. And speaking of the Masked Singer, I heard that there's going to be a new panelist this year. Or this season. So, just wanted to throw that out there. And then a show that we're going to be covering is the new show that's starting tomorrow night on Fox called We Are Family. Which is going to be on, I believe, in the Masked Singer spot, 8 o'clock on Fox. It's going to be a great show. Anthony Anderson's the host, and it's where the contestant performs, and it has to be a relative of a celebrity, and you guess which celebrity they're related to, and then the celebrity comes out at the end of the show. So it's more of a game show because there's the singing contestant, and then there's the contestants playing the game and making the guesses. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see if there's any crossover from Masked Singer, Masked Dancer onto the show in terms of celebrities. And I'm going to predict there is. I'm going to say that there's actually crossover. And I'm going to say the crossover is in a host matter. And I'm going to say that maybe a relative of, let's say, Ken Jeong. Like, what if Ken Jeong's wife's on the show and then it turns out to be Ken's relative? That would be appropriate if it was Ken Jeong's wife. So let's just go on a limb and say that. Just to be funny. So yeah, those are more predictions for 2024 in sports and entertainment. Now we're going to do news and notes. We're going to rapid fire news and notes. all the big stuff we did on the emergency show yesterday. So the AP poll came out. We alluded to it a little bit as we went over games for tonight. So 1 through 5, Purdue, Kansas, Houston, UConn, Tennessee. 6 through 10, Kentucky, Marquette, Carolina, Illinois, Arizona. 11 through 15, Oklahoma, BYU, Colorado State, Duke, Memphis. 16 through 20, Clemson, FAU, Baylor, James Madison, Texas. And 21 through 25 is Wisconsin, Ole Miss, Providence, Gonzaga, Auburn. Others receiving votes: San Diego State, Creighton, Colorado, Utah, Miami, Iowa State, Michigan State, Nevada, Texas A&M, Ohio State, New Mexico, Grand Canyon, Dayton, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Alabama, Villanova, Northwestern. And obviously Creighton drops from the rankings after losing. And Gonzaga drops all the way to 24. I think Gonzaga needs to be considered out of the rankings at some point. They have 4 losses, but they get favoritism because they're Gonzaga. And then their resume's shiny, and a lot of their losses are against good teams. And Arizona dropped in a big way after losing to Stanford. FAU dropped in a big way after losing to Gulf Coast. Memphis went up 4 spots. So that was your biggest riser of the week. It was announced that Conor McGregor will return and fight Michael Chandler on June 29th in Las Vegas for International Fight Week. So that's pretty cool. Lane Kiffin said a staffer created a burner account as he confirms Ole Miss student created _Penn State to troll his team's players. DJ Uiagalelei announces his transfer decision. He'll be going to Florida State as he goes back to the ACC. It's not an upgrade over Jordan Travis, obviously, but he's a solid player. Speaking of Jordan Travis, he had a reaction to Bama losing to Michigan. Speaking of Bama, Dallas Turner declares for the draft. One of the better edge rushers. He'll be a first-round pick. And speaking of the Bears, who have the number 1 pick, the fans of the Bears were chanting, "We want Fields." And I applaud that. I applaud it. They should keep Justin Fields. I said that on the podcast last night. And then the Bears may not draft the quarterback as Fields has made the Bears' decision for number 1 pick difficult. Obviously, we talked about the OG Anunoby Knicks trade. He's open to a Knicks discount as he was initially looking for $40 a year. And then the Knicks will not heavily pursue Donovan Mitchell. And the Cavs are not entertaining offers. And the Knicks shouldn't go after Mitchell. They exposed Mitchell in the playoffs last year. He cannot be the best guy on a championship team. Jamal Agnew out for the year with a lower leg fracture. Not good for the Jaguars. We talked about Bradley Chubb already. Christian McCaffrey will not play against the Rams on Sunday, and he shouldn't. So we will not see Christian McCaffrey play until divisional round. We talked about Tua Tagovailoa just being a little sore. Devontae Smith was seen on crutches and in a walking boot after injury against the Cardinals. Alvin Kamara got ruled out with an ankle injury. Jamar Chase played against the Chiefs. And then Devontae apparently avoided a major injury, which is good. Will Levis got carted off with a foot injury in that game. Tyler Smith avoids a major injury as he tore something in his foot, but will be fine long term. Trevor Lawrence has a chance to return against the Titans. They need him back, or else the Colts-Texans winner will win that division. Isaiah Pacheco came back for Kansas City against the Bengals. Jamal Adams on IR, but he could return this year if the Seahawks make a deep postseason run, which, newsflash, they're not. Josh Jacobs did not play against the Colts. Cam Ward, one of the top transfer quarterbacks, is being declared or going to be declaring for the NFL draft. Arch denies transfer rumors as Manning is looking forward to hopefully one day playing for Texas. There's obviously rumors because Ewers might stay. But I think Arch should consider transferring. Because he's hyped up to be the greatest quarterback prospect we've ever had, according to some people, probably since his uncle. And he hasn't really played. LeBron was upset over a review on Saturday night in what was a controversial end to the Lakers-Wolves game. And the L2M report says there wasn't clear and conclusive evidence to overturn the call after the shot was ruled a two-pointer. Panthers owner David Tepper throws drinks to Jaguars fans after loss. He's the worst owner in the league now. He is an absolute joke. And then there's snow for the Falcons-Bears game, which was cool. LeBron apparently tweeted to Lamar Jackson, and then Lamar said quarterbacky. Justin Jefferson fined for touchdown celebration as he received a $13,000 fine for a violent gesture towards camera after a touchdown. The Detroit-Dallas game was filled with controversy. Obviously, they called an illegal man on the field after Taylor Decker caught what looked to be the two-point conversion. And obviously, he was, the refs called him an illegal man on field, and that ultimately cost the Lions the game. And then Brad Allen's playoff crew will not be involved in the playoffs, so they got a downgrade. And then the other missed calls that the Cowboys were flagged for tripping instead of the Lions before the overturned two-point conversion. Here's crazy news. Jair Alexander's Packers future is in doubt as their decision to keep Jair Alexander will depend on the $8 million roster bonus. So that's a guy that could be a free agent. The NFLPA's letter to the Broncos that the team was told the threat to bench Russ over injury guarantee violated CBA. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. That's a mess. And then Denver may need to overpay free agents as there could be some fallout due to Broncos' handling of Russell Wilson's benching, which they handled it really poorly. He should have never been benched. He was a top half quarterback this year, and the reason the Broncos have underachieved is because of their defense, not because of their offense. And then they just blame Russell Wilson because Sean Payton didn't want him. So Jim Harbaugh hires a new agent, Don Yee, as he's the same agent as Tom Brady and Sean Payton. So it looks like he might go to the NFL, but I don't know if I feel good about that now because they're in the title game. But if they win, maybe Harbaugh said, I did my job, I gave Michigan a title, now I'm going to the NFL. I could see him doing that, but if they lose, then I could see him going back to Michigan. So we'll see. Antonio Pierce is in line for the head coaching job with the Raiders as he's well-positioned himself to secure the role going forward. Good for him. 3 teams in the mix for Russell Wilson. Falcons, Steelers, and Patriots could pursue him in free agency. The Falcons are the best fit. I feel like the Steelers and the Pats would just be a lot more attention and more pressure. Matt Eberflus to remain Bears head coach. I don't know how I feel about this. He deserves credit for the Bears being competitive in the second half of the year, but I think that's more of Justin Fields, though. But I do think he has earned another year. But at the same time, Jim Harbaugh's out there. He's a better coach than Matt Eberflus. So we'll see what happens there. The Seahawks cut Frank Clark. We'll see if anybody picks him up for the playoffs. If anybody should, it's the Chiefs. Giants running back Saquon Barkley fined $21,000 for unnecessary roughness against the Eagles. The Raptors are exploring a Pascal Siakam trade after dealing OG Anunoby. We talked about that already. The Reds signed Frankie Montas. 1 year, 15, 16 million, something like that. So we'll see how he does there. And then the Red Sox signed Lucas Giolito, 2 years, $38.5 million. We really didn't talk about this when we discussed the sale trade, but I just don't think Lucas Giolito is an ace. To me, he's a number 2 or a number 3 on a good team. And then there's a savage troll of Michigan after McNeese beat them in basketball. As the Southland Conference brought up Connor Stallions. My God, that is so funny of a savage troll. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So we are going to go to the NBA for the first best bet of the year. I know it's a large number, but there's literally nobody playing on Charlotte. Like, they're sitting their whole team. No Hayward, no Mark Williams, no LaMelo, no Rozier. I have to lay 16 with Sacramento. I just have to. Like I said, I know it's a big number. I'm only going to do a quarter unit on it because I don't feel that strong because it's a big number. But the Kings should win this game going away. And like I said, Charlotte's missing 4 guys. The Kings are clearly better. So I'm laying 16. I don't like laying big numbers when we do it here. I'm going to lay 16 with Sacramento against Charlotte for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, look at everything. Tomorrow we're going to do New Year's resolutions for Major League Baseball. We have golf tomorrow to do as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.